So disco wasn't just music, it was a movement amongst the African American community, amongst the LGBTQ community. These communities are, finally able to express themselves and really, show their love for life through their music and share this whole thing, which was celebrated at Disco Salute. So when you kind of make a night called Disco Demolition Night, where people are literally throwing or blowing up or, submitting to blow up these records made by people expressing themselves, especially amongst those two communities, you can see how that could be taken the wrong way and become a very, controversial activation. It's very risky. As someone who now works in experiential marketing, these experiences, you want them to leave feeling like positive, getting something out of it, making it a memorable thing that attaches them to the brand. You don't want to make it something that evokes negative associations, and that's exactly what this does. And Bill and Mike never intended in belittling anyone when they came up with this idea. It was more that they just needed money. Like that's the core of it. And when you sort of only act, or when your only goal in promotion is to make money, and you will become a little bit blind to maybe the things that could happen, or maybe you're acting too quick, or you're not stress testing it enough. You're just, you're not thinking about the negatives and what could go wrong, and that's so crucial when it comes to this, which was why it was ultimately considered racist and homophobic, though it was not its intent.
That's the only way it could really be viewed nowadays. And when we were watching the documentary, you can tell how much this event really hurt him, and how you could feel the emotion coming out of the scene with the way that his actions made people feel. It felt genuinely remorseful, which is really rare to see and to feel from documentaries like that.
I felt a lot of empathy for him, just because even though he did make this crucial mistake, he was so remorseful about it. And it's if you really think about it, this happened in 1979. Now I feel like, because we're kind of in this more woke society, we're so much more diligent in making sure that we are not going to rub anyone the wrong way, or do anything that's controversial, or spark any kind of negative, and the media PR, we really need to make sure that nothing is perceived the wrong way. So but back in 1979, they might not have even needed to look through this lens as much as we do now, which was, of course, part of the problem, and why this is such both a learning experience, but also why it's such a monumental moment in MLB marketing history. And honestly, the most monumental, in my opinion, just because of everything that happened, right?
It was a crazy night, but basically this event completely broke his father's heart, and changed the way that he viewed the games for the rest of his career, which wasn't that much long after. And even for Mike, he was all over the news and in newspapers, and articles being written about him, called Vec the Wreck, and it ruined his career, which was honestly on a roll. he was doing great, and all of his promotions and events that he was putting on, they were working for his dad. They were working for the ballpark, and it didn't seem like anything could really go wrong at the time. Like, he had a future in that career and in advertising, but after this, it changed everything for him. Like, he couldn't find a job. Nobody would give him a chance. And he was being written off it. Whenever they would see his names on papers for whatever he applied to something, it's in the garbage right away. Right? So they're struggling with alcoholism, and he had his first child. I named him Night Train, Mike's son, because it was like a little baseball thing. Like, he was saying all baseball players have cool names, so he named his kid Night Train.
And that was his creative choice.
Yeah, exactly. And he was a creative at heart. So, advertising brain.
Which brings us to say, he finally turned things around.
Yeah.
You know, and he got back into the world of advertising, this time at an agency, I think, which ended up his own agency, right?
Yeah, he started his own. It didn't work out.
Which is okay.
That's fine. It's
trial and error.
Not like that, right? It's he was just going through a lot of different things in life trying to make it work for him.
So Mike gets his call one day, and he's asked to take over the marketing of the St. Paul Saints. So he kind of realizes that there's this way he could get back. Like, what if he transforms this team through marketing into a way of giving back and opening up to making it an experience welcome to all. Mike's career legacy will always be associated, you know, with Disco Demolition, but now he could also put his name behind an amazing initiative like the St. Paul's Saints, right? Like,
there was just a lot of good that he did with that team. He gave people second chances that would never be given one. Like, Strawberry was a huge player. He got a DUI twice, and it messed up his career. Like, $1 million contracts down the drain, and so he gave him a second chance, even though he didn't want to originally, but he did, and it changed his life. Strawberry got back into the big leagues, and it was just a really good thing to do, because he was given the grace of a second chance, and so he was able to give that back to them. Even there was a man on the team with no legs. He was playing on the team, and he was pretty good too. So he just, one of the things that they said for the St. Paul Saints was that he gives fourth, second chances. You know, gives people their fourth, second chance. And so it's just, you can really see the values of his father, that his father instilled into him. Like, his father was very big on women in sports, and he got to recreate that and kind of give back to his father for what he had done in his past. I just think it really it inspired me more than I thought it would. I didn't think that a documentary like this would be that eye-opening. I thought we were just going into it learning about the Disco Demolition. Like, we're like, oh, this is sick, like, we can figure this out in video format, which is way easier than reading articles, right? But I think we learned so much more from it, where the impact that negative media can have on communities, and why nowadays stuff is so regulated, and why we have to be so careful with what we put out as advertisers, because it can really impact a community badly.
Yeah, totally.
And give the wrong message, which is not, we don't want to do.
No. Don't blow up
disco records
at a baseball game.
Don't do that. It doesn't end well for people's careers.
No. Or maybe. Anyways, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
And see you
in our next one. Yeah.
Which is definitely coming out.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Bye, Liz.